Welcome to the deep dive. We're going to dig into some really thought-provoking ideas from Harari's book, Homo Deus.
That's all right.
Specifically, we're reflecting on, well, humanity's path. The mission in this part is really about exploring how we seem to be shifting, moving beyond basic survival towards something maybe like transcendence.
Yeah, and what's striking in the book is how he frames this. It's not just straightforward biological evolution.
No.
No, it's driven by our own meaning-making, how we interpret the world and our place in it. We've been sort of rewriting our own story. And a huge part of that, for Harari, is the rise of humanism.
Okay, let's unpack that. Humanism, it's presented almost like a secular faith, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
You know, traditional religions, they place meaning outside us, divine rules, a higher power, that kind of thing. But humanism just flips that completely.
Exactly. The source of authority, it moves inward. It becomes your feelings, your choices, your inner experience. That's suddenly the ultimate benchmark for truth, for meaning. It's a powerful change looking inside instead of outside.
And, I mean, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. Harari suggests that, okay, this focus on the individual sounds empowering, right?
Sure.
But taken to an extreme, humanism itself can become, well, almost its own dogma, like a faith where the human perspective is everything, maybe even a bit narcissistic.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that then has these massive consequences for social bonds. Think
Yeah.
about it. For most of our history as Homo sapiens, our strength was group coherence.
Shared stories, shared myths.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Common roles, these collective narratives that held us together. But if the individual becomes the final word, the ultimate authority, what happens to that glue,
Yeah.
that shared understanding?
Yeah, that's the problem Harari points to, this potential loss of coherence. If everyone is their own ultimate source of truth, basically their own little god, then those big stories that bound societies, they start to crack, to fragment. You get this hyper-focus on individuality, which, you know, can lead to disconnection, paradoxically, even as our capabilities are shooting upwards.
It's a genuine existential challenge, he argues. That narrative coherence, it was like the social operating system for Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
And if you lose that, if everyone's running on slightly different self-generated code, the system starts to, well, wobble. It can break down.
So, okay, we've got this potential breakdown of social coherence, this fragmentation coming out of extreme individuality linked to humanism. And this is happening right alongside this incredible accelerating technological push.
Yes.
And this drive, it isn't just about fixing diseases or making life easier. It seems tied to something deeper, a desire to overcome our basic human limits.
Yes, exactly. That's the push towards transcendence. It's that ancient dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Beating death, ending suffering, boosting our abilities, way beyond the Homo sapien blueprint.
Yeah.
Harari's point is that this godlike ambition isn't new, but
But the tools are.
the tools to actually do it are suddenly feeling unprecedentedly close.
And that potential future, that outcome, is what he labels the Homo Deus moment. If we actually achieve things like, you know, radical life extension or uploading minds or fundamentally re-engineering our biology, it's not just an upgrade, is it?
No, he calls it an ontological break. And that's a really key phrase.
Ontological break, meaning...
Meaning it's a change not just in what we can do, but in what we fundamentally are.
Mhm.
Past evolution, it was mostly, incremental biological shifts over long periods. But becoming Homo Deus, that suggests engineering our very essence. Maybe merging with AI, changing the basic rules of what it means to exist.
Wow. So moving from a species shaped by natural constraints to one that actively designs its own being, its own destiny, we stop just imagining divinity in stories.
And start actually building the tools to potentially become it.
Which naturally raises a huge question that echoes through the book. If we chase this path, this intense individuality, losing social coherence, driving for transcendence to become Homo Deus, what's the cost? What are we giving up? So let's try and bring these threads together. You have the shift towards individual-focused humanism, which risks fragmenting our social coherence. Then you add the fuel of this ancient godlike ambition combined with new tech power driving towards transcendence. The Homo Deus moment isn't just some sci-fi future.
No, it's framed as an active engineering project happening now. And the central question Harari leaves you with is pretty stark, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we pursue this future of, let's say, ultimate individuality and maybe transcendence, leaving Homo sapiens behind, do we risk losing the very core of our shared humanness in the process?
It really makes you stop and think, is that dream of becoming godlike actually worth the potential price of everything that makes us human now? And maybe even more unnerving, if we got there, would we even recognize ourselves anymore?